The initial call for service came in shortly after 1 o'clock this afternoon. Call came in as a reported structure fire. While en route, the crews observed a dark column of smoke coming from the vicinity. Torrington police on arrival reported that the house was fully involved. When the Torrington fire crews got on scene, confirmed a working structure fire, fully involved 1.5-story wood frame residential, single family, with 2 vehicles on fire in the front yard or driveway. They also were encountered with the service to the house had burnt off, and there was arcing power lines in front of the building, which impacted the initial attack efforts. On arrival, it was reported that there was 1 person unaccounted for that was reported to possibly be in the structure. Crews made an aggressive interior attack to try to conduct a primary search. They were able to push into the 1st and 2nd floors despite the conditions and do a primary search, but both searches were negative. It's our understanding that that person subsequently was accounted for. The Torrington Police Department was able to locate the person to ensure that they weren't still within the structure, at which point we made this structure an exterior defensive operation due to the weakened condition of the structure and the safety of our crews. Shortly after that, just after this fire was knocked down, we did get reported of a second structure fire down on 50 Clark Street. That came in as a reported confirmed structure fire. Torrington Police Department on scene. They're confirmed that they had a working structure fire. We released some crews from here, and some callback crews responded to that second fire. We were able to release some crews from here and leave this with the skeleton crew. We also were supported with a response from surrounding volunteer departments, Harlington West Side, Harlington Center, Litchfield, and many more that I just don't have the full list for you right now. But those crews, there were some crews that made that initial push at this fire and that fire. Clark Street fire had fire on the 1st, 2nd floor on arrival. That interior push, they were able to advance into the structure, knock the fire down, and hold it to that. Predominantly the 1st floor, the stairwell to the 1st to 2nd floor, and the 2nd floor. It did extend into the attic, but they were able to extinguish it. And that structure, while people are going to be displaced from there, they were able to make an aggressive stop on that structure and hopefully keep it salvageable.
Was there anyone in the Clark Street residence at the time of the fire?
When we got there, our understanding is everyone had already self-evacuated from the structure.
Are your folks okay?
Yeah, our folks, they're fatigued, they're tired. Obviously, it's one of the first warmer days of the season, and having crews work, multiple fires within a couple-hour time frame. They're fatigued, but no major injuries. We're making sure to get rehabbed, hydrated, and monitored. So,
2 major fires in your town at the same time has got to be unbelievably unusual and stretch your department to the limit.
It was a trying day. I will say I was incredibly proud of how the Torrington firefighters stepped up. It was a great effort on their part, not just the on-duty crews, but also the crews that recalled in and really stepped up. We were blessed to be supported by the surrounding departments. And I will say special, thanks out to the Torrington Police Department as well. I think this was, and Trinity Ambulance, it was a great collaboration between all the public safety organizations doing their part and their role to have a positive outcome.
You brought up the weather, and we talked about that too. I saw you guys had a cooling station out here. It must be an extra strain of trying to just rotate people through so everyone's staying fresh.
Yeah, so that is something we try to aggressively monitor to make sure that we're being able to get the crews out and rotated. We have limited staffing, so that does become a difficult problem. And here, we did have to sort of push the crews and ask them to step up a little more than we normally would like. But they were, as they always do, they stepped up to the challenge, and because of that, I think we were able to have as positive an outcome as able.
This particular fire took it how long to knock down? Did it start outside in the cars and go to?
I don't have any information. I know the fire marshal's office is on scene. They're conducting their origin and cause investigations for both locations. I don't have any information to report on that time. I will say both fires, that the initial knockdown was fairly quick. I don't have exact times, but it was in the 15 to 20 minute range for that initial knockdown.
Are these fires considered suspicious? No?
I have no information on the origin and cause at this time. Yeah, as with every fire we start off and we'll do a complete, thorough origin and cause investigation. And both these fires are under open investigation. We don't have any additional information to release at this time.
Do you know how many people were displaced here and displaced at Clark Street?
I don't have those specific numbers. My understanding, I believe it was 5 at Clark. I don't have the numbers from here, but we are still working on that and have made notification to the Red Cross to support the displaced individuals.
Is it legal to store cars like this on your property? If you're working on that?
Yeah, I mean, there are limitations on how many cars that aren't registered can be kept on your property. I don't have any specific information on that or.
And when someone who saw it said there was a explosion. So was there any fuel sources or things like that ignited while you guys were here or beforehand?
I mean, with car fires, you obviously have a lot of fuel sources in there. There was some popping between the electrical lines were popping, which was fairly dramatic. Don't have any reports of any other specifics other than there were vessels or small releases that occurred while we were here.
Do you know if the owners of this building do any kind of car repair business out of the home?
I have no information on that. So.
And a witness told us that it spread pretty quickly once the building caught on fire. I mean, can you speak at all to the condition of the building and whether or not, it's old materials or something would cause it to spread pretty quickly?
Yeah, no, I don't have any specifics. That'll come out as part of the origin and cause. Obviously, the fire got well deep-seated and rapidly progressed through the building. I think that's with the newer combustible materials that we have in our vehicles, in our homes. I think it's important to realize how fast these fires really do spread, and rooms are going to go into full involvement and flashovers in minutes, not tens of minutes. So I think it's an important important point to reiterate the importance of smoke detectors and getting out of the house and calling 911 if you do have a fire, because these fires do progress quickly, and that early notification and getting out of the structure and calling 911 every second makes a huge impact on our ability to fight these fires.
You had mentioned once no one was inside, it became about trying to contain it, and you mentioned that thought was the safety of your personnel. Were there any concerns too? I mean, I see it's close to another home. We've had a lot of dry weather lately. Were there other considerations into that, or was it specifically just to make sure everybody's safe?
Yeah, I mean, exposure protection is on our part of our initial response, so we were already factoring that in. When we did pull out the crews, we still had one person unaccounted, but due to the conditions within the structure and the impact on the structural members within the structure, we pulled the crews out at that point because we were able to get a good primary search at that point. So the exposures at this point, we were able to get that fire darkened down very quickly and address those exposure concerns early on in the incident. So that really didn't factor or wasn't a major concern for us during this incident.
Is this unusual for you calling the state fire marshal to an event like this?
No. I mean, we utilize the support of the state fire marshal's office routinely as a part of our normal investigatory process. So.
Is it safe to say that this building, it looks like it's a total loss?
Yeah, I mean, the fire was substantially damaged. The fire did burn through the roof and did affect the rafters and the floor joists between the first and second floor. So the structure as is substantially weakened.
And then the condition of the Clark Street one, I know you said you contained it to certain parts of the building. Does that one seem like it's more salvageable?
Clark Street did seem they were able to get into the fire before it really took a deep seat on the entire structure. I will say crews at both scenes really did a phenomenal job trying to make that aggressive attack for life safety and for protection of the properties.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.